Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Fog had settled gently over the London skyline that evening, dimming the street lights until they looked like fading embers. In a modest townhouse near the River Thames, Eamonn Holmes stood at the bay window, the muted hum of the city behind him. His eyes were distant, lost in memory, a storm of thoughts swirling silently, but heavy enough to knock the breath from his chest. On the coffee table lay a single photograph, the edges curled as though scorched by grief. In it, he and Ruth Langsford smiled under a golden summer sun, carefree, bright. Now those days felt like a dream, slipping too fast through his fingers. The phone call that changed everything had come earlier that afternoon. A voice, soft but trembling, delivered news that made the air around him shudder. In that moment, a part of him fractured. The world outside the window carried on, cars passing, distant chatter echoing. But inside was silence, a silence so complete it hurt. He remembered Ruth's laughter the last time they met, light, warm, like sunlight dancing on water. He had teased her about the way it brightened a room. "You make the dullest days shine," he had said. She'd brushed her hair behind her ear and grinned. He didn't know then how precious that moment was. Now, as Eamonn pressed his forehead to the cold glass, tears escaped unbidden. Tears for what had been and what would never be again. The photograph fluttered slightly as a draft rose. Suddenly, he heard a quiet knock. He turned. Standing in the doorway was a woman, not Ruth, but someone sent with a note. In her hand she held something small. Eamonn took it. Inside a simple wooden frame was engraved one word: hope. Beneath it, a single line from Ruth's own handwriting: "Live, even when I can't." Eamonn's heartbeat fluttered. In that moment, grief bowed and let hope rise in. The weight in his chest felt slightly lighter, though the ache remained. He closed his eyes. Realization washed over him. He must honor more than a memory. He had to carry Ruth's light forward. Over the next days, friends filled the room with flowers and condolences. Reporters buzzed at the door, but Eamonn moved quietly, kind, gentle, but reserved. He let his sorrow be witnessed, not masked. And in that vulnerability, something beautiful happened. People reached out. Strangers sent letters describing how Ruth's radiant presence on screen had comforted lonely mornings, sparked courage, or simply helped someone smile. Eamonn read each letter in the soft lamplight. He shed tears, not only for personal loss, but for collective grief, shared across homes and hearts. He realized grief was not only sorrow, but connection, a thread weaving strangers together with empathy and love. One evening, he picked up a pen. In messy handwriting, he wrote what he felt, a tribute to Ruth, to her kindness, her laughter, the way she made even trivial daylight feel golden. He wrote for himself. He wrote for others. He wrote to remind the world that even when someone is gone, their warmth, their spirit, can keep moving through memories, through stories, through kindness. As the candle beside him flickered, the photograph of Ruth and him on the coffee table caught the glow. Eamonn leaned forward. He whispered, "You still shine, love." Outside, fog had lifted. The first slivers of dawn's light touched the Thames, gentle and hopeful. And in that hush, Eamonn allowed himself to feel grief, yes, but also hope, because love doesn't end at loss. It lives on in every choice we make. In the quiet house, with morning's light creeping in, a man began to rebuild, not just for himself, but for a legacy of love, laughter, and light that would outlast sorrow.